The Electoral Commission reschedules district-level elections in some electoral areas in the Eastern and Ashanti regions over technical challenges. Meanwhile, voting is underway across the country. We're live in some selected electoral areas. Also in this package, the Electoral Commission has declared it will no longer require the use of indelible ink in elections, citing the adoption of biometric technology as more efficient and effective way to deal with multiple voting. We have more on this also in the bulletin. Plus, we have some news on the National Democratic Congress raising strong opposition to the move, arguing it could compromise the integrity of the elections. And finally, state prosecutors discontinue case filed against spokesperson of the New Force movement, Shalima Abusi. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly, if you're still with us. Welcome to the program. Let's get into the details of the stories. Voting in district-level elections in part of the Ashanti and the Eastern regions has been rescheduled. The polls were scheduled to start at 7 a.m. in the morning in some 6,215 electoral areas, but the number has been reduced due to suspension of voting in some areas. The Electoral Commission has issued a statement on this matter, and I'll read to you exactly what the statement signed by the acting head of public affairs of the Electoral Commission, Michael Boadu, says. It is titled Rescheduling of District-Level Elections in Some Electoral Areas in the Ashanti and Eastern Region. It says the Commission wishes to inform the general public that due to a number of technical challenges, the district-level elections in some electoral areas in the Ashanti and Eastern regions have been rescheduled to Thursday, 21st December 2023. The Commission says they apologize for the inconveniences caused residents of these electoral areas and assure residents of the affected areas that the district-level elections will be held on Thursday, the 21st of December 2023. And this is a statement signed by the acting head of public affairs of the Electoral Commission, Michael Boadu there. Let's have a conversation on the back of this and gauge the mood or the atmosphere of the election as we take you across some part of the country for the levels of participation in the elections. First is the Central Region. Thomas Khan is joining us from the Central Region. Thomas, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. How is the district level elections going in the Central Region?
Well, Crosby, I would say for areas where the election is happening, everything is going on smoothly. You go to places like Philip Kweku District School, where this morning there was a little confusion over there, but the police was called to restore calm over there. This happened because one gentleman who was an agent for one of the candidates protested when the EC came with ballot papers, which were less than the number of ballots accepted for the elections, because the register had 492 names and the ballot papers they came with was just 400. So one of the candidate agents protested, and that resulted in some kind of confusion. And in that matter, the EC officials had to call for his arrest, and that also generated some confusion in that polling station. But after a while, calm was restored, and then the election has been going on.
Thomas, in the Central Region, do we have cases of suspension or delay in the voting process?
Yes, where I am standing right now is the Crew Town electoral area, where we have the famous London Bridge in Cape Coast. That electoral area did not have their election. And one of the candidates who is contesting, who is a female candidate, Mamesi Asare, is really, really disappointed. Especially, she makes the case that it is very disappointing, especially when they need more women to participate in politics. And unfortunately, the very first time she tried to contest for election, this thing is happening. And as we speak now, we don't know when the election is going to happen, and that is a worry to them. For her, she's worried that a lot of people who would have voted for her left their job and then came to queue only for the elections not to come on. So for Cape Coast Metropolis, for instance, 5 electoral areas did not have their elections.
Thomas, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Thomas Khan is a Central Regional Correspondent speaking there. He spoke with the NDC Secretary of the Cape Coast South constituency, George Justice Arthur, and he chastised the Electoral Commission for the irregularities in the ongoing district assembly level elections, where some electoral areas are not taking part of the elections because the centres did not receive voting materials for electorates to cast their ballots.
I've also realized that about 5 electoral areas out of 30 electoral areas in Cape Coast South are not voting. I mean, when you go to my electoral area, Tamis as electoral area, they have suspended voting. They are not voting at all. They have not even started. And that one is a component of about 4 polling stations. Up to now, they are not voting. The electoral commissioner has ordered that they should move their things away. In fact, it's quite unfortunate. The issue is that the gentleman raised an alarm. Those who are supposed to vote here are 494, 492, and only 400 ballot papers are brought to this center.
You hear the voice of George Justice Arthur, who is the NDC Secretary for the Cape Coast South constituency in the central region there. Now, we know that the process in some areas has been characterized by a late arrival of election materials, resulting in delays. A few of the centers also recorded some skirmishes amid some arrests. Let's now take you to the Ashanti region and speak with William Evans Inkum. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us with some updates from the Ashanti region. Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. What is the situation in the Ashanti region like? What can you report from the areas regarding the district assembly level elections?
Well, Crosby, not too different from what my colleague in the Cape Coast said when it comes to, at least in Ashanti region, I've been able to count 10 over 20 rather electoral areas that have not been able to go on with the exercise today because of issues of electoral materials. At Sokobane, for instance, when I got there in the morning, I saw people in queue, police officers stationed there to man the entire exercise, and also 1 or 2 EC officials. They waited 8:39. Then they were told that by the EC returning officer that the election cannot come on because they have issues with printing of ballots of the unit committee members. So a lot of them had to go back disappointed because some came very far to just to be able to exercise their civic duty. Now, the worry of some of the candidates is that it is likely to affect the turnout of the exercise. We know now EC is saying it has rescheduled those areas to Thursday. So they fear that it is likely to affect the turnout. But apart from that, and so far in the areas that the exercise is ongoing, and generally it has been smooth, and they are hoping that it remains same until the close of polls and subsequent counting and declaration.
So you've been able to count over 20 electoral areas that have had their elections postponed. For the electorates there, you touched on the plans they have and how frustrating this will be for them. But are there any indications that on Thursday, the date the elections has been postponed on to, these electorates will come out in their numbers to vote?
So, Crosby, for some of them, they are eager to come out in their numbers to vote. Others too cannot tell because they don't know whether Thursday they will be allowed. Some even had to seek permission from their work. So some didn't go to work today at all. They sought permission from their work. Others had to even travel all the way from Accra just to be able to participate in today's election. They said they cannot tell whether on Thursday they will be able to make it or not. But generally, some say yes, it is their civic duty, and for that matter, they will come out in their numbers and vote. But on the part of the candidates, most of them are also frustrated because obviously, because today is the voting day, they have agents in the various polling stations. They've prepared adequately for them, preparing food, other things, transport, and other things. Now they are being told that the election is not coming on today. So for them, this is just a waste of money, and they are even thinking of where to get money to prepare same food in the next scheduled day.
I see. Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us with those updates. Ibrahim Abubakar joined us from the Ashanti region, updating us on the situation there. Let's take you to the Eastern region, crossing over to my colleague Yvonne in Nukwe, who's also joining us from the Eastern region, where we understand that the Electoral Commission has postponed the district level elections for 20 districts in the Eastern region to Thursday, 21st December 2023. Yvonne, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Talk to us more about this decision by the EC and how it is impacting on the mood or the atmosphere of the elections in the Eastern region.
Good afternoon, Crosby. So, as you've rightly said, 20 municipal and district assemblies will not hold their elections today because a number of the ballot papers are not set for them. Some do have that of the assemblymen. They don't have that of the units, those going for the units elections. And some have for a number of electoral areas. They don't have for a number more. So it's being kind of a messed up situation for them. And so because of that reason, the elections have been postponed to Thursday. For those in the heart of the region, Kofori, New Jam, and North and South, they are among the 20 districts that will not be holding the elections today. They've been disappointed about the 10 out of event because this is one of the elections that have received a lot of publications and a bit of enthusiasm because partly it's been colored from both parties. But it's a bit of disappointment for them because it's not happening. For those who have cooked to serve whoever will be voting for them or their agents, it means that they will have some of economic disappointment as well. So this has been what is happening in the region as of today.
But for the candidates who wanted various positions in the district assembly members or unit committee members, how are they taking this news and the electorate? Are there any indications that they will come to vote on Thursday?
Well, just a handful of them. As before this minute, as I speak to you, we're hoping that the elections will come on today. But unfortunately, officially, the EC says it won't happen in the district for this 20 municipal and district assemblies. And so, yes, we can't tell if they will come back on the Thursday to vote. It means that for the candidates, they would have to go back to lobby them to come vote for them again. The candidates have been trooping to the regional office for the past 2 hours to understand exactly why the elections won't go on. And so they've been told about the situation that the ballot papers and other materials are not set, and so the elections can't go on today for them.
Yvonne, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Yvonne Nukwe is our Eastern Regional Correspondent. She also spoke with some of the electorates and they share their frustrations.
I don't think that 20% we may have it. No. That 60, we will not get it. That's the truth. Because look at the time. If 7 o'clock, maybe a friend who is going to work will vote before going to work. But now, even we don't have the ballot papers. I don't know, even today as I'm standing here, I don't know that the election will go on. From my side of the view, or how I see things, I don't think we can vote today.
You heard the frustrations of some electorates in the Eastern region. Stay with us here on 3FM 92.7, also on all the media general platforms. Trust us, we are your election command center. I'll be updating you on the progress of the district assembly level elections in our subsequent bulletins. In a related development, we know that beginning today with the district level elections, the Electoral Commission will no longer use indelible ink for polls. The EC says the adoption of biometric technology has made it virtually impossible for individuals to vote more than once. This has, however, met stiff resistance from the opposition, the National Democratic Congress, which argue that the move would only compromise the integrity of the elections. But the EC has expressed confidence in the new system and thrown a challenge to persons who may attempt voting twice or more. Here's Chairperson of the Commission, Jean Mensah, explaining the decision.
The issue of indelible ink. The question is, when we were not doing biometric, we were basically using your face, your card, and to look at you. We look at your face and we say, this picture looks like you. The biometric technology makes it difficult for a person who has been verified and cast their vote to come a second time. So there is no need for indelible ink, because once you have been verified, it goes into the system and you cannot come back a second time. So you can try it if you wish at this election. Of course, it will be an electoral offense. It will be deemed as an electoral offense. But because of biometric technology, your facial features are recognized or your fingerprints is recognized and verified, you cannot go a second time. And you can try it, as I said, if you wish. And therefore, there's no need for indelible ink, which had been in place since 2012, since the beginning of 2012, when we were not using biometric.
Jean Mensah is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission speaking there. Now, away from election-related matters, let's now take you to the House of Legislature, Parliament. And Parliament may have to get at least 183 of its members to compel President Akufo-Addo to sign the anti-witchcraft bill into law. This follows the Speaker of Parliament indicating he strongly disagrees with the President's view that the proposed law can only be passed as a law sponsored by the executive and not a private member's bill. Duke Menso Poku has been in Parliament and he's joining us with some more update on the progress of the anti-witchcraft bill, where it has come from, where it is now, and what the future of the bill, as well as some two other bills, looks like. Duke, thank you for joining us on the program. Good afternoon to you. You follow this development. Any idea what exactly the House would take the decision, when exactly the House would take a decision on this?
Well, it's unclear when, but Parliament has limited time. They will rise for the Christmas festivities, the Christmas break on Friday. So they must, as a matter of necessity, come to an agreeable position on this matter before they rise. And the Speaker has said that he will read out his reasoned ruling and position on this matter, disagreeing with the President's view not to sign these bills into law. He would read them out on the floor of Parliament in the coming days before they rise, after which a decision will be taken as to what Parliament should do.
But what reason did the President give for not being able to assent onto this bill?
The President said that based on the advice that he has been given by the Attorney General and his legal advisors, these bills would have financial implications, i.e., the bills have sections that border on punishment. And if you imprison somebody, prisoners are taken care of. They are fed, they are given health care, they are given protection. All of that comes from the consolidated fund. And the law is quite clear that a private member's bill cannot have financial implications on the consolidated fund or on the state. So based on this legal analysis, it takes the legal view that once these bills have financial implications, they cannot be passed, they cannot be signed into law, because private members' bills should not have financial implications.
Right.
So that is his main argument, and that in the coming days, he believes in the object and the principles of this bill. So he will introduce them himself. This time around, not through the route of a private member, but right, he would introduce it himself. It will go through the process and then get passed. That way, nobody can go to the Supreme Court to strike these laws down and deeming them unconstitutional. Really,
the position of the President and that of the Speaker in Parliament, that generated and got to the leaders of Parliament themselves. The Speaker clashed with the majority leader over this matter. How did that happen?
Well, so after the Speaker read the letter from the President, the memorandum, as the Constitution calls it, The speaker then said he disagrees with the president. The president has got it tragically wrong on this matter. The majority leader did not take kindly to the words that the speaker used
on the president.
Right. And got shot up on his feet, seeking to catch the eye of the speaker to, as it were, protest or make his views known. But the speaker ignored him and told him to resume his seat. This did not really impress the majority leader, who then went on a tirade, shouting and saying that why is the speaker taking a preemptive strike? What has he seen? What is happening in Ghana's parliament is not right, You
don't even know what I'm going to say. Majority leader, you are not the first timer in this house. I know. Yes. I'm not the first speaker. Yes. Please resume your seat. Mr. Speaker, votes and proceedings of Saturday, 16th December 2023, page 1. What is this preemptive strike? Page 2. The Speaker, the Majority Leader. What is this? Page 3. What is this that you are seeing in Ghana's Parliament? Page 4. What is this? Page 5.
Right, that was the Speaker of Parliament and the Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu there. Duke Mensah Opoku is still with me. Duke, that ensued in Parliament, but the Majority Leader has been speaking on the matter. What has he been saying?
Well, he says that the Speaker went about it wrongly. The Speaker should be decorous, at least, when it comes to addressing the President.
The Speaker says he disagrees with the President's opinion. That is legitimate. If the Speaker disagrees with him, it's legitimate. And he could have ended at that I disagree with the opinion given by the President. And maybe I also come with my own understanding of the law. That is it. But you also saw and heard the rather visceral language of the Speaker. I thought it was most unfortunate. I thought it was most unfortunate for a Speaker. And I get up to be identified. I was just going to say that, well, I thought the communication is to the entire House. Because the bill was passed by the House, not the Speaker. The Speaker, it was who allowed the bill to be introduced in Parliament. So he has a role to play by admitting that the bill should be passed by Parliament. But actually smithing the bill, passing the bill, is Parliament. So the communication is also to us. Now, the Speaker, after reading it, then goes on his own frolic and attacking the President.
That was the Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu speaking there. This is a subject to be keeping an eye on. We'll be updating you in our subsequent bulletins on 3FM 92.7. To some other subjects this afternoon, state prosecutors have discontinued the case filed against spokesperson of the New Force movement, Shalima Abusi. She was accused of using a forged documents to secure a residence permit. My colleague Lord Edwasare has been in court. He's joining us with some more update on this development. Lord, good afternoon to you. Any idea why the case has been dropped?
Good afternoon, Crosby. So, what we know is that today in court, the Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, who represented the case, Adolf Abuaje, actually told the court that he had received instructions to withdraw the case and come back at an appropriate time. Now, the counsel for Ms. Abusi, lawyer who's also the MP for Madina, noted that they had filed a motion for the release of her phone, which apparently was still in the custody of the National Bureau of Investigations. And he noted that he had gotten confirmation that the NID did not have any or couldn't find any incriminating thing on Shalima's phone, and that she was praying the court for the release of her phone. Now, after the engagement, the Assistant Commissioner told the court that once she is discharged, her phone will be released to her. After the session ended in court and she was discharged, while she made her way or exited the premises, I could count at least 7 armed personnel from the Ghana Immigration Service.
Right.
A truck outside appeared were waiting for her because immediately she got out, they moved towards her to accost her again. Now this erupted into some form of chaos. On one end was her parents who looked distraught and actually broke down in tears. And then there was Lea Sosi, who was actually trying to stop them from arresting his client. He was very intimidated by the development. But what we picked was that although she has been discharged, the state has revoked her permit. And so the next step is that she may be repatriated or deported because she no longer has residence here in the country.
Thank you. Lord Edwasari is my colleague who reported from court on the happenings there. We're still staying on some court-related matters. And Accra High Court has dismissed the request by the National Communications Authority asking to be exempted from Media General's case, challenging the National Media Commission's push to have Onua TV's license suspended. The court ruled that the NCA is a proper party to the case. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me in the studio with more on this. Joseph, thank you. Tell us more about this request by the NCA and the court's decision.
And so we know that the NMC had written to the NCA asking that it suspends the license of Onua TV. We know Onua TV disagreed and took the matter to court and sued the NMC and the NCA for that matter. The NCA took the view that it had not taken any action against Onua TV and should therefore not be made a party to the case. But the court today agreed with the view of lawyers of the Onua TV, taking the view that because they are the authority with the mandate to suspend license in appropriate circumstances, they ought to remain a party in this particular case, especially because the correspondence surrounding this particular matter, they were in copy and they had actually been written to by the National Media Commission.
So what happens next?
The case is back in court on 17th of January 2024, and we know the substantive issue to be decided is whether or not the NMC acted in terms of due process in writing that letter without giving Onua TV a fair hearing.
Akable, thank you so much for joining us. Joseph Akable joined us with updates on this development. We'll be staying with the subject in a subsequent bulletins to bring you all the latest happenings there. This has been Midday on 3FM 92.7. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. Business News is up next with Minuafo. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of Business Daily. Coming up this afternoon, oil marketing companies slash fuel prices at the pumps. What could be accounting for the latest reduction? We'll tell you. Also in the bulletin, MTN Mobile Money CEO throws weight behind ECD, promising collaboration but urging extensive consultations.
A hackathon, awards night. Anything that supports deepening financial inclusion needs to be supported. And we'll look at the business model in terms of how we support and drive this agenda.
Also, private organizations urged to complement government's efforts at attracting more youth into agriculture through injecting much-needed capital and innovation.
I think government is getting into it, and honestly speaking, if we have to wait for government to do everything, we are not going to get anywhere.
My name is Menu Afo. We have the details of these stories and more lined up for you. Stay with us. Thank you so much for your time. Straight to our first story. Several oil marketing companies have initiated price cuts for petroleum products at fuel stations. Leading the reduction is market leader Goil, now offering a reduction for both petrol and diesel by more than 40 pesos. The Flowing Through Business News Desk reports has more.
Now offers a litre of petrol at 12 cedis 39 pesos, down from the earlier 12 cedis 80 pesos as of this morning, December 19, 2023. Simultaneously, diesel is now priced at 12 cedis 99 pesos per litre, a decrease from 13 cedis 30 pesos. The industry awaits adjustments from other OMCs, especially since many refrained from revising prices during the last pricing window between November 15, 2023 and November 30, 2023. Despite market indicators signaling a marginal drop in petroleum product prices, some OMCs cited the cedi's depreciation as a reason for maintaining prices during the previous period. Additionally, market analysts suggest that firms may be leveraging these reductions to recover from losses incurred during the recent surge in petroleum prices.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, Chief Executive Officer of MTN Mobile Money, Shaibu Haruna, has expressed his outfit's readiness to support the central bank's ECD, pledging to work with all stakeholders to make it a reality. Even though the Bank of Ghana is yet to consider its rollout, it has, however, concluded a hackathon for a use case solution for the digital currency. Addressing the media on the sidelines of the 2023 National Momo Awards, where MTN was awarded the overall best winner of 50,000 cedis cash and regional winners of 10,000 each, the CEO stressed much more needs to be done.
There was a hackathon awards night. We would have to get an alignment with regulator in terms of how it's going to be structured in our markets. There's still a lot of work to be done on ECD before it goes to market. But the way we view it is anything that supports deepening financial inclusion needs to be supported. And we'll look at the business model in terms of how we support and drive this agenda. So we're very open towards the idea of the ECD, and we'll work with all stakeholders to make it happen.
That was Shaibu Haruna, Chief Executive Officer of MTN Mobile Money. Also, private entities are being urged to join forces with government in enticing more youth to embrace agriculture. Board Chair of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Joe Mensah, underscored the need for companies to inject much-needed capital and innovation into the sector to make it more lucrative. He was addressing the media as the KIC Agritech Challenges Classic final pitch competition organized here in Accra.
There was a hackathon.
I think government is getting into it, and honestly speaking, if we have to wait for government to do everything, we are not going to get anywhere. And that's one of the reasons why we started this thing back in 2016. We said exactly what you said. It's an aging population in the space of agric. And back when we were in school, when you do something wrong, they tell you to bring a cutlass and go and cut grass or something, like a punishment. So people were disinterested or not interested at all. One of the reasons why we started Cosmos Innovation Centers, I spent 3 decades in technology. I ran IBM, and I brought IBM into Ghana, 2009. And when I was leaving IBM, I was hired by Cosmos. And the whole mantra was that go and do something that will be outside of the oil industry, and yet it will be good for the country. And we felt that agric, as a mainstay of the country, we need to get back in there. It used to be like 70% of our GDP, and it dropped all the way down to 19, but now it's coming back again. The exciting piece of what we did was that we said, how do we bring innovation into the space of agriculture?
Joe Mensah is board chair of the Cosmos Innovation Center. Meanwhile, executive director of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Benjamin Jan Kessie, is urging businesses and other stakeholders within the agricultural value chain to leverage the African Continental Free Trade Area to gain access to larger markets.
The question is, how do we leverage on the likes of AFTA? On the KIC side, we are being deliberate about the kind of engagement we are having with other partners, like the people, the organization AFTA. We're also looking at other markets that we can actually have partners for market access, market accessibility for our businesses. Also helping to see how we can raise further income, further investment for our businesses. So as a program, or as an organization, we understand the challenges, and we started with one part of the challenge, solving one part of the challenge. First of all, creating the businesses, and secondly, looking for the other support in the marketing and also fundraising for the business. Obviously, KIC and its partners, MasterCard Foundation, also gives startup funding, but then going forward, the middle funding, as in the growth funding, is also always a challenge, and we are bringing on very many partners to also look into that areas.
And that was the voice of Executive Director of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Benjamin Jan Kessie, bringing us to the end of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Kindly log on to www.3news.com for more business stories. My name is Menu Afo. Do stay tuned. Black Rasta will soon join in with Urban Blend.